12-word seed phrases are more secure than 24-word seed phrases, and no one in the crypto industry understands why. Seed phrases, as we know them, came from a Bitcoin improvement called BIP39. And BIP39 is just a standard used by Bitcoin and crypto wallets to generate private keys. So instead of generating some giant number that no one can read, BIP39 generates 12 or 24 words from a dictionary of 2,048 words that represent the private key. Therefore, there are 2,048 to the 12th power, or about 10 to the 39th combinations of 12-word seed phrases, and 2,048 to the 24th power, or about 10 to the 79th combinations of 24-word seed phrases. Let's quickly put those giant numbers into context. There are 10 to the 18th grains of sand on Earth, 10 to the 23rd stars in the universe, and 10 to the 82nd atoms in the universe. If I hit a single grain of sand somewhere on Earth, it would be easier for you to find that single grain of sand than it would be for you to guess this 12-word seed phrase. But obviously a 24-word seed phrase is safer because it's bigger, right? Theoretically, yes, but in practice, it turns out maybe not. And to understand why, we need to first understand how Bitcoin and cryptocurrency wallets work today. Hierarchical deterministic, or HD wallets, were invented so that people like you and me could more easily use cryptocurrency. You know how when you're using your Bitcoin wallet and new addresses get generated automatically to help protect your privacy? Before HD wallets came around, this didn't happen. Instead, if you wanted to generate a new Bitcoin public key, you needed to write down and store a brand new private key for that address. If you chose not to generate a new public key, then every transaction you ever made would be viewable on the blockchain from anyone you ever transacted with. It would be like if every transaction you ever made with your credit card was publicly displayed on a giant billboard outside of your house forever. Anyone walking by would immediately know about your $10,000 novelty sock collection, and it would be super embarrassing for you. So to stop that from happening, programmers invented HD wallets. Now you just have to write down one single seed phrase to secure a basically unlimited number of public key addresses. So this advancement in HD wallets is great, but what does it have to do with seed phrases? The biggest thing we need to think about is how much entropy or randomness is used to generate these HD wallets. To refresh everyone, a 12-word seed phrase has 10 to the 39th combinations, and a 24-word seed phrase has 10 to the 79th combinations. Sit back and grab a beverage because it's about to get a little mathy. Using 128 bits of entropy gets us 10 to the 38th combinations, which fits cleanly into a 12 or 24-word seed phrase. But using 256 bits of entropy gets us 10 to the 77th combinations, which is too much randomness for a 12-word seed phrase to contain. And this is where, if you wanted to store those 256 bits of entropy, you would have to have a 24-word seed phrase. So the answer is yes, a 24-word seed phrase is more secure than a 12-word seed phrase because it can handle more randomness. But now we have to ask the question, in practice, how much entropy are these HD wallets actually using to generate your seed phrase? And it turns out that for the most part, they're only using 128 bits of entropy. And to back that up, here's a quote from Andreas Antonopoulos' third edition of Mastering Bitcoin, which is basically the Bible of Bitcoin. From a security perspective, the amount of entropy actually used for the production of HD wallets is roughly 128 bits, which equals 12 words. Providing more than 12 words produces additional entropy, which is unnecessary. And this unused entropy is not used for the derivation of a seed in the way that one might initially suspect. From a usability perspective, 12 words is also easier to write down, back up, and store. So again, in theory, yes, 24 words is more secure. But in practice, when you generate a seed phrase from production HD wallets, you're only getting 128 bits of entropy, which means that when you go and generate a 24-word seed phrase from these production HD wallets, you're getting the same amount of security as a 12-word seed phrase. But if we think about security as a whole and not just about cryptographic security, there are also some other major differences between 24 and 12-word seed phrases. How easy is it to store 24 words versus 12 words? Is it easier to make a mistake writing down 24 words versus 12 words? Is it going to be more convenient for you or someone that's recovering Bitcoin on your behalf to recover 24 words or 12 words? When you take questions like this into consideration and the reality that in production, 12-word seed phrases are just as secure as 24-word seed phrases, and it's much more likely that you lose your crypto making a mistake backing up your seed phrase than someone hacking your seed phrase, it becomes obvious that 12-word seed phrases are more secure than 24-word seed phrases. If you guys want to learn more about this topic, I'll have a link in the description to Andreas Antonopoulos covering this question on a live stream that he did a couple years ago. And you can also read chapter 5 of Mastering Bitcoin, which is free to read and download on GitHub. And I'll have links for physical copies down in the description as well. And if you check out the video over here that I did on Cursor SH, you can actually use Cursor's AI to read through and talk to the book after you've downloaded it from GitHub. It's kind of like getting to talk to Andreas and ask him any questions that you might have about Bitcoin, which is really cool. That's it for today. today. I love you all. See you next week.